Hey, welcome back, everybody, to your Healing Journey Live. I am your host, Ernest James, uh, a mental health advocate and your grief guide. Welcome back. We are back for another Tuesday. Again, we meet for these lives every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 o'clock. Last week we didn't do it, right? Last week we didn't do it because um, I was going to go. I went to a conference to pour into myself so that I can pour into you guys more, right? So I can pour into you guys better. So welcome back to another episode of your Healing Journey Live. I want to tell you guys a little bit about my weekend. Let me get my stuff up right. I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my weekend. Again, I was out in Atlanta. Actually, before I say that, let me also remind you guys that our Healing Journey Live episodes are sponsored by our Deal Heal Fulfill Deal to Heal School for a Living. As you guys know, my mission is to help you guys deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problems, heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. And one of the ways that I've decided to do that was by starting the Deal to Heal school, not deal to yes, Deal to Heal school for living on the school platform. There we have workshops and resources to help you on this healing journey, including two workshops, um, embracing your grief, as well as maintaining your faith doing your mourning, right? So we have those two workshops, along with some other workshops as well. But you guys can find it. Go to the Deal to Heal School for Living on the school platform. The first 7 days is absolutely free. You guys can go there, check it out, download some of the free resources that we have there that you can keep at no at no cost to yourself. So make sure you guys go again to the Deal to Heal School for Living to check that out. The first 7 days, absolutely free. If you decide to stay, it's only $27 a month. And each month you have access to a new workshop and new information. So make sure you guys go check that out. You can look it up, or you could just scan. Here we go, the right side. You can just scan the QR code in our upper corner in order to go and check that out. Okay, so that being said, now let's get into what I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about. First of all, I'll tell you guys about my weekend. So last week, I think we do Tuesday. I think we went live Tuesday. We might have went live Tuesday, maybe not. I know we didn't go live Thursday because Thursday I was traveling, so maybe I missed Tuesday too. My days be getting all jammed in together. So, but Tuesday last week Tuesday and going into Thursday, definitely throughout the weekend, I was in Atlanta, right? So I was in Atlanta, and I went to the Next Level Speakers Academy conference, yearly conference, and so went to that conference. That is a conference that if you want to be a speaker, you go there and you get great information from industry leaders about the practices of not just being a speaker, but also having a speaker business, which includes, how to do your marketing, includes how to write a book, how to publish a book, just all of those things around the business of being a speaker, public speaker, motivational speaker, which I am as well. And not only am I a member, but I'm also the vice president of the Chicago chapter of the Next Level Speakers Academy, under the leadership of Jeremy Anderson, who is a well-renowned, well-known motivational speaker, as well as Inky Johnson and Dr. Eric Thomas. So I was going to that. It's a 3-day conference, and so went there the day before, went to the conference, and then I left the day after, which was Monday. So I actually got home yesterday in order to be here today with you guys. And so just went to pour more into myself, to learn more, to be able to present more and to present more professionally and excellently for you guys. Whether I'm doing a workshop, whether I'm doing these lives, whether I'm doing a keynote or some kind of presentation, or I just want to be better, always bettering myself, so that I can do better for you guys. And so, thank you guys for those of you who tapped in, even though I wasn't here. You tapped in, and I did post on the social medias that that we would not have these the live last week because of me being traveling, or me traveling. So I was not here. But that being said, I am here today and definitely want to help you guys again on this healing journey of grief. As you guys know, I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a grief guide. I don't even know if I shared my story. I think I shared my story when I first started doing these. But just as a re-up, that again, I am Ernest James. I am mental health advocate, grief guide, and my story was that a couple of years ago, I was found myself living what I call a D life. Right, I was in debt. I was depressed. I was ended up going through a divorce at that time. And then my mother-in-law, who I was very close to, passed away, or died, should I say. And then not long after, my own mom died. And so all of those things together, me grieving through that process, and all of those things together really took me into a dark space where I started having suicidal ideations. And I even did a TEDx talk about it maybe a year or so ago. So you guys can go on YouTube to be able to check that out. Just look up Ernest James TEDx, and then that should come up. That is my first one that I've done. I won't be the last TEDx that I've done, but I was able to do that first TEDx talk to talk about that experience of dealing with all that grief and having suicidal ideations, and how I got out of that suicidal stage. And I share there what I call the fun acronym, right, which is FUN, fun. And I say let's learn to have fun with suicidal ideations. And of course, it's a play on word because there's nothing fun about suicidal ideations. However, the word fun, as I use it here in this instance, is an acronym, and the acronym stands for focus, unite, and normalize, right? So focus. During my time dealing with my own suicidal ideations, I had to focus on something outside of myself because I was in such a dark place, and I was going through all these different things that I could not control and I could not change, right? All of these things that I was dealing with that I had no control over. I couldn't bring my mom back. I couldn't, save my marriage at that point. I couldn't, make the academy pick back up so I could go to work and make some money. Just like all of the things that I was dealing with, I could not control any of them. And so by focusing on all the things that I could not control, it only made me go deeper into my suicidal ideations. It only made me go deeper into my depression. It only made me go deeper into my grief. And so I had to begin to find a way to get out of that space. And so what I did was I had to focus. So the F in the acronym FUN stands for focus. I had to focus on something outside of myself. And the thing that I began to focus on is my daughter, right? So my daughter is my only child, my only biological child. And so I began to focus on my daughter because I came to the realization, and you guys can go watch the TEDx talk so you can get the full story of it. I don't want to go into the whole thing here, but I began to focus on my daughter so that I had to find just this one thing that I could hold on to, right? To give me the strength to hold on. And so that's the same thing that I teach people as we're dealing with our own grief and our own suicidal ideations, if our grief get to that point, is that look for that one thing. What is that one thing that you can hold on to? What is that one thing that you can grasp hold to that gives you the strength, the motivation, or the what's the word I want to use? Strength and motivation, but just to have something to hold on to that'll get you through to the next day, right? Something, a responsibility, something that you can control, something that you can give yourself, that you can hold on to in order to get to that next day. And so that thing for me was my daughter, right? My daughter was probably only 7 or 8 at this time. And, as young as she was, and being able to acknowledge and even put words to her own grief, I knew that I couldn't leave this earth and leave her here to fend for herself, as she was already grieving her grandmothers, but then have to grieve me as well, right? So I just couldn't do that, and so my daughter became my focus. I took the focus off of me and I put the focus on my daughter, because I had to stay here, if for no other reason. I had to stay in order to make her life better, in order to make sure that she had a great life, in order to make sure that she didn't go through any of the things that I had went through, but also to make sure to help her process her grief as she was dealing with it as well. And so that became my focus. And now, as I say, I've had this conversation with therapists. I am not a therapist, right? But I've had this conversation with therapists and telling them that during my time period, or during my, spell or season of depression and suicidal ideations, the way that I began to work through it is by focusing on my daughter. I had to focus on something outside of me. And so the therapist has told me, like, you know what, Ernest, actually we teach, or this particular therapist was like, we teach people to focus on themselves and focus on the things that they can control and all of those things. And so I said, well, I'm not a therapist. And I'm saying to you guys, I'm not a therapist. So I can't say what's right or wrong or what you need to focus on, but you do need to focus on something. So whether you focus on yourself and you focus on the things that you can change and the things that you can adjust to help your situation, or if you feel like me, how I felt at that time, that things was kind of out of my control and I couldn't change those things that were hindering me at that time. So I began to focus on something or someone outside of myself, which was my daughter. And so I began to focus on my daughter. So whether you focus on you, or you focus on someone else or something else, make sure you focus, put your mind on something that you can put your all into, all your effort into, all your mind and body into for today, in order to get you through to tomorrow, right? And so that was the F in the acronym FUN, which is focus. So the other thing was the U in the word FUN, in the acronym FUN, stands for unite. I had to unite with like-minded people, right? And you guys will need to do the same. You need to unite with like-minded people, with experiences, right? And so when I was going through, after my mom passed, after my mother-in-law passed, me just going through the grief and just really was kind of overwhelmed with the grief, I started going to bereavement sessions. So bereavement sessions is where you go. Usually, sometimes funeral homes offer them, or hospice offer them. This time, it was Hospice of Calumet. Shout out to them because they definitely helped me very much, and they also helped my mom and my mother-in-law in their last days. So shout out to Hospice of Calumet. But one of the things that they had was bereavement sessions. And so I started going to bereavement sessions in order to help myself deal with the grief and learn how to process my grief properly. And also, again, uniting with like-minded people, or people with like experiences. And so when I was there, I met other people who were grieving as well, other people who had lost loved ones as well, other people who were trying to process their emotions, process how they were feeling, process the fact that they no longer had their loved ones present with them, and what would that look like moving forward, right? And so all of the people that was there was amazing. We helped each other, we loved on each other, we supported each other, and encouraged each other. And I love that experience so much that even after my sessions were over, I stayed there for a year, a little bit over a year, I guess, as a volunteer, as helping with the bereavement sessions as a volunteer. And it's something that I really loved and I really appreciated. But the U in the acronym FUN was unite. So uniting with like-minded people, uniting with people of like-minded experiences who have been through or are going through what you've been through, or it may not even be exact. Maybe they're grieving something else. Because again, when we talk about grieving is not always the loss of a person. Grieving can also be the loss of anything that you held dear, whether it's the loss of a job, whether it's loss of a loved one, whether it's loss of a dream, whether it's loss of the life that you wanted to live, but now you find out that due to certain circumstances, your life is not necessarily going the way that you planned it. So you can grieve that life that you thought how your life would turn out, but because it didn't, you can even grieve that. So grief is, you can deal with grief with any loss, right? So grief, I always say grief don't care, right? Grief doesn't care what your loss is. It shows up whenever you have a major loss, right? That affects you emotionally. So again, we're talking about the acronym FUN, F-U-N, right? Because we were talking about, my TEDx talk of having fun with suicidal ideation. And of course, it's a play on words because there's nothing fun about suicide or suicidal ideations. However, the acronym FUN was how I made it through my season of suicidal ideations, and it's how I teach others and encourage others to use it in order to help them get through it as well. So we talked about the F, which is focus. We talked about the U, which is unite. And now the N stands for normalize, right? So when we think about, what's normal, after we have a major loss and after we are grieving that loss, we recognize that our lives will never be the same. We recognize that whether it's loss of, a loved one or a job or whatever the thing that we lost, a life will never be the same because we will never have that thing or person again. Right? And even if we do, it's not going to look the same. It wouldn't be the same. It would still be different. So our life will never be normal as we knew it. But now we have to find what is our new normal, right? What is the new normal? What does normal looks like to me now? And if I can embrace that, and if I can embrace this new normal, embrace this new life, or what life looks like with my loss, whether it's the loss of, a loved one, a loss of a pet, maybe a loss of a relationship, whatever that loss is, after I accept it, then I can begin to look at my life and realize like, okay, it's never going to be normal as it was. But now I'm here with this new normal. And what does my new normal look like? And when we can accept what our new normal look like and figure out how to navigate within this new normal, then we can find life again. Excuse me. We can find life again. We can find love again. We can find purpose again. And to find a reason for us to live again. Because a lot of times when we're dealing with suicidal ideations, we don't feel like we have something to live for, right? Or we feel like the things that we were living for, we have now felt so much pain. We're feeling so much pain at the loss of those things that you probably don't even want to live anymore. And so those are coming to some of the feelings that we have when we're dealing with suicidal ideations. And so we want to make sure that, again, if we're using a fun method, we're focusing on ourselves or others, whatever that thing is that we have to focus on to get our minds off of, or maybe even on more directly, the things that we're dealing with that is causing us to be depressed that is causing us to grieve, that is causing us to have suicide ideation. So we have to check that out. Then the U, we have to unite with like-minded people, whether it's mentors, whether it's survivors, just other people who understand what you've been through, what you're going through, that you guys can support one another, that you guys can talk, that you guys can have someone to talk to be able to be a listening ear and a support for one another. So again, that's U for unite. And then the N stands for normalize, right? How do we normalize this loss that we've had now that we've, begin to grieve and work our way through it? How do we accept it? And then now, how do we live with it? How do we adjust our lives to be able to be comfortable in the loss that we had, right? So that is the fun method. FUN stands for fun. That is mine, that I created based off my own experiences, and I encourage people and I teach people how to use that in their life as they're processing their grief in order to come out stronger, right? Come out on the other side of grief stronger, right? And suicide ideation stronger. So we started off talking about my weekend last week while I wasn't here. Again, I was getting poured into taking some training, learning some things so that I can be able to present and be better for you guys when I go live, whether in person or virtual or, wherever you may see or hear me at. I was going to get some training myself so that I can show up better for you guys. And so that's why we weren't here last week for our 2 sessions. Again, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:00 is our Your Grief Journey Live, right? And so that's what we did. And so I talked to you about that. I talked to you about the grief method. I mean, the FUN, FUN as an acronym, the FUN method that I used to help myself get out of my suicidal ideations, help me deal with my suicidal ideations. So I just want to encourage you guys. Once again, I want to talk to you guys about, make sure you guys go check out our Deal to Heal School for Living, right? Deal to Heal School for Living, where we have more workshops and resources to help you on this healing journey. Make sure you guys go and check that out. You can scan the QR code in the upper corner. Actually, it's that corner in the upper corner where you guys can check out the Deal to Heal School for Living. Again, we have workshops there, 2 in particular that deal directly with grief, which is embracing your grief and maintaining your faith during your mourning. And I think I'll probably do a one of these lives, particularly for one workshop and for the other one, especially the one to hold on to your faith during your mourning, because that's a big one that I dealt with somewhat, but I know that it's been a blessing to others, and so we want to do that. Also, there's other workshops that we have there, including finding your purpose workshops, overcoming failure workshops, that is also there, and other resources, free resources, ebooks, and things of that nature that is there as well. So you guys can go and check that out. What else? Yes, and also if you guys decide that you don't want to join the Deal to Heal School for Living, but you would like to have access to the trainings as far as the workshop for embracing your grief and the workshop for maintaining your faith during your mourning, both of those workshops will also be available on Eventbrite, right? So I do teach them on Eventbrite occasionally, so you guys can go up under this video. I believe it should have my not Instagram, but my LinkedIn link should be somewhere in the description. You guys can link that. If not, just go to Facebook, look up Ernest James. Go to Instagram, look up Ernest James Speaker. There you will find me with my Deal to Heal stuff on. Go to YouTube, look up Deal to Heal Podcasting Network, and you will find my information there where you can connect with me and find out our information on Eventbrite, right, for those workshops. Now, the organization that Eventbrite is under is the Deal dealhealfulfill.org, dealhealfulfill.org, LLC. On Eventbrite is what we're under, that we have our workshops under. So you guys can go there and check out the workshop for embracing your grief. You guys can also go there to check out the workshop for maintaining your faith during your mourning period. Both of those workshops is available through the Deal to Heal School for Living. But if you don't want to join the Deal to Heal School for Living, then you can still have access to be able to take those workshops, take part in those workshops by going to Eventbrite and looking up the dates in which we have them. Again, that's dealtoheal.org LLC on on Eventbrite to take those grief lessons. And make sure you guys follow us, right? Make sure you guys subscribe there so that you don't miss all of the different things that we have going on, including this weekend. Actually, I'm gonna take this down, right? So including this weekend is our second annual. As you guys know, I'm also a podcaster, right? And so I have the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. But my other podcast is the Girl Dead Discussions podcast, which I started in order to combat the narrative of the absent father and the fatherless daughter. So with this weekend on the 14th, which is Sunday, we are having our second annual Daddy Daughter Dance. And I probably should have had something up here with that on there. But our second annual Daddy Daughter Dance is this Sunday coming up, and it's for dads and daughters of all ages, right? So it's not just for our young daughters, but it's for daughters and fathers of all ages. And so last year we've had some of our adult daughters bring their fathers as their date for the Daddy Daughter Dance. We also had fathers that, of course, brought their daughters, and we have father figures because it's open to everybody, right? Your biological father may not have been involved in your life, but we want to make sure that we acknowledge all of our fathers, our grandfathers, our uncles, our stepfathers, all of our father figures who stood up in the lives of our daughters. And so it is our second annual Daddy Daughter Dance this Sunday, June 14th. It'll be held at the where we have it at South Holland Community Center in Illinois. South Holland, Illinois is where it's going to be at. And again, I should have had the information up here. Make sure you guys go look me up on Facebook, Ernest James on Facebook. You will see me with my my red Deal Heal Fulfill shirt, like the one I have on with our logo on it, but it'll be red. But that's the picture that I have. But look me up there, hit my link tree, and you should be able to find all of that information. Or just scroll through my page and you will see it. The link for our Daddy Daughter Dance, our second annual Daddy Daughter Dance that we are hosting this Sunday, June 14th. And so I just wanted to make sure I give you guys that information as well. But that is all. That is all for today. I keep these really short, only like 30 minutes. Again, so it's 4 o'clock to 4:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We do these live to talk about ways and tips and tools to help us to navigate our grief, right? As we begin to heal, navigate our grief and our suicidal ideations if our grief has taken us there. So make sure you guys continue to tune in. This Thursday at 4 o'clock will be our next one. They will get longer, but right now I'm just keeping them kind of short, just trying to make sure that I stay consistent with the Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm in the Chicagoland area, so make sure you guys adjust the time to be here. Right now we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and we are also streaming live to LinkedIn with our Journey Live episodes. And so this is probably the 4th or 5th one, I think. I'm not even sure how many we've done so far. But I am grateful for everyone that has tuned in to our journey, our healing journey live, or should I say your healing journey live Again, we do these every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4 p.m. They last about 30 to 45 minutes right now, but they will get longer. Um, but that is all that I have for today. So make sure that you guys catch up with me next week for our next episode of Your Healing Journey Live. So until next time, we will see you guys later. Be blessed.